of owning a cafe and other heroic deeds by Beware the Tristero. Chapter 173. Together Again. Part 2. With Aries still bundled up in Toshinori's arms, her cherry eyes glistening as she and her newest father talked up a storm as though they'd known each other for years, Yagi Aizawa Shouta almost didn't realize that they'd reached their destination until... Shoni! Blinking, he turned fully towards the double doors that had been pulled open by some unseen force to find a veritable wall of excitement and color charged towards him with Nato and Hitoshi in the fore. Papa! Throwing his arms wide open to rope around his youngest sons, the rookie pro held them close as they wept and clung to him, the three of them soon swamped by a plethora of other arms, his tear-blurred eyes picking out the blondes, ebonies, ivories, greens, brunettes, heterochromia, indigo and lilac of the young men and women he loved so much. Are you okay? Just luxuriating in the feeling of having them there. We missed you so freaking much! Knowing that they were safe. And we followed everything you taught us? Knowing that they were mentally equipped to process and overcome this trauma. Yeah! Toshi went all legalese on everything. Knowing that they'd work through it together through talking, love, and understanding. And even Kenjiji was, totally blown away, you know? Wow. Plus, Deku totally leveled up into Super Detective Deku! You just wait until you hear all of his planning and strategies, Shoni! The men would feel a little better about putting them through, well, all of this. Ma, Choco-chan, don't sell yourself and the rest of the pre-hero team short. Oh my gosh, Shoni, they were unstoppable! Even Injunium-san said so! God. Oi, Mirio-senpai, your first years were incredible too. You actually got to fight those Yakuza-bagas. I bet you were all so cool. It felt so good to be with them again. They're lucky that we didn't get them first. To ruffle the air. Kanchan, you gotta tone it down with the violence, you adorably angry Pomeranian. Wipe their tears just like he had when they were small. What'd you just call me, Natsuoni? When they'd just about reached his knee, their young heads filled with hopes and dreams that might have seemed impossible at the time. Best new nickname ever! Oh, it's a good job, I love you guys. But to look at them now, Oh, we love you too, Kanchan. You could hardly believe how far they'd come, hell. Guys, come on! Is those tear ducts can't take too much more of this? The majority of them would reach his height and surpass it soon, wouldn't they? Neither can mine. And with so many exceptional people looking out for them, training them, they'd become superb heroes too. Oh, it's just so good to see you, Shoni. Heroes who'd work toward making the world where people with ambitions like Chisaki's couldn't gain power or influence. Don't worry about the cats, okay? They're in that lovely Tokyo Neko hotel and we've been to check on them a few times, so we know that they're alright. Get up. That they couldn't just hide in the shadows or lurk underground because their lights would shine through that darkness. The cafe's fine too. We've been cleaning and we've been cleaning your apartment as well. Their will to help others would prevail. Doesn't had to be stopped from cooking though, cause it's like the one thing he isn't great at. Their compassion would be used to guide people away from such poisonous intentions. Yeah, you should have seen the curry he tried to make. Not even Eiji or Tamaki-senpai's stomachs could handle it, you know? They would focus their efforts on rehabilitation, not condemnation. I swear, it was glowing, Papa. Me, Toshi, and Denki were scrubbing the pan he used for hours, and Dad, he just couldn't believe it. But we gave him an A for effort, though. And they'd show other pros how to give so-called villains second chances, but if those chances should fail. Yeah, we did. We also made him promise to stay out of the kitchen on top of the promise that he'd eat with us every night. He tried his best too, and we were just glad we could help by making sure he ate something, you know? They'd be ready to meet those consequences, bring criminals to face justice, and never stop trying to save those people from themselves. And we've been helping Dabini, Tomuni, and Spinnerny to feed everyone else as well. For just as for Yumi, Natsubo, and Shoto, we're slowly trying to coax Endeavor into reflecting on his behavior. We're not exactly cut dead level for cooking yet, but when we get home, we want to cook for you, okay? He knew that his kids, all of them, would work tirelessly, not to just throw people in Tartarus and throw away the key, no. And we don't want any arguments, Shoni! You are so getting pampered! They'd create hero training schemes like what I had. Yes, we have such plans for you. They'd offer personal time to those who asked for it, like he, his husband, and their pro friends did. Yeah, and there was so much salty licorice coming your way. They'd create a sphere of positive influence past the borders of Musutafu and beyond, wouldn't they? Oh, and sleepovers! Sleepovers for days! God. That all sounds wonderful. He breathed, his eyes upraising the children fondly, his right hand moving from Mezzo's extended tentacle to Bikito's outstretched arm, while the left pulled away from Nejire's cheek to lace fingers with Fuyumi's. And I'm so incredibly proud of you all guys. He breathed the chorus of sniffling starting up from them again, whilst they continued to gaze at him adoringly. Thank you. Thank you for loving me. And I love all of you too. All right. In all of her 4 years, Eri had never seen such a gathering of people. You see those two boys there? That's our son Nato and our ward Hitoshi. Now you'll be living in a big apartment with just me, your papa, and Nato-kun, but most of our precious people live in the same building, so you'll be seeing them all the time, okay? There were just so many of them. The lady with hair just like Hitoshi's is his mother, Shinso Kimiko. She and your papa love to cook together with the veggies that she grows with her quirk, and she's going to fuss all over you the first chance she gets. Some tall, some short. Not that Himura and her children won't be doing the same. She's the woman there with hair so similar to yours, and that's her daughter Fuyumi, and those are her sons Natsuo and Shoto. Nobikun was right. He looks just like them now, doesn't he? Some older, some younger. Then we have Mimi-chan. She and her best friends will all be your grandmothers, and they are very good neighbors too. Aha! Look at them handing out tissues to Inko-san and our kids. They really do think of everything, don't they? But the one thing they had in common was how delighted they were to see her papa, only... no, Tosan, why do they need tissues when they're so happy? She murmured to the man still so comfortably holding her. Why are they crying? Is it crying just for when you're sad? She added quietly, her eyes widening when she realized the wonderful man was similarly shedding tears. Oh no, were they sad? But why? Why would they be sad when... Forgive me, princess. The blonde breathed, his left hand swiftly moving to brush those droplets of moisture away. Sometimes, when people are overcome with happiness, they feel it so strongly that their eyes release tears. He smiled fondly. It's the eye's way of helping to let the joy out. He furthered kindly, her young mind opening to the new idea. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. That's really kind of amazing, isn't it? To all the new, fantastical, amazing ways of thinking that Papa had started to teach her about could... yes it is. And Princess, you can always ask me anything, okay? And never apologize for wanting to learn, alright? That's a very special power, all on its own. To seek knowledge, why there's no finer thing for anyone, let alone someone of your tender years. Could the world really be such an incredible place? Really? She was even more excited to find out now. Definitely. She had so much to learn. Thank you, Tosan. No, why is it gone quiet all of a sudden? She had so much to see. And as the hush caused her to lean in Papa's direction, the little girl found his dark, lightly red-rimmed gaze meeting hers across the few feet which separated them, thanks to the swath of children who'd swept him up and pulled him into a tsunami wave of hugs and affection within the room she and her other father stood in the doorway of. Everyone, I'd like you to meet the newest member of our family. Blinking, her cheeks pinking, when those faces turned towards her all at once, the former orphan knew that she had something even more precious than all of her further adventuring, didn't she? This is Eri. her papa proclaimed, an odd coo soothing across the adults and younger people, whilst the man who'd broadened her horizons from a dark, closed-in room filled with soulless toys and dolls, from a labyrinth filled with dull gray and scabby brooms glinting ominously with needles, scalpels, and blades, who tucked her into bed, told her stories, sang songs to her, and carefully tied her hair as though she was something precious. She's going to be a part of our community from now on. He smiled. Harry-chan, would you like to come and meet everyone? After an hour or so of him and the little girl he adored being passed around.
Oh, shucks, yeah. She's ridiculous looking. Hi there, sweetie. I'm your only son in Movie-chan. And these are my partners, Sheena, Tomiko, Ryuko, and Yawata-kun, who are standing around our ward Koda-kun. Now, Koda, go say hi, okay?
Shouta finally felt this nervous tension he'd been building across his shoulders ease.
God, I'm so glad you're all right. And he said, Oi, Seiji-kun, you're sort of kind of a doctor, right? Well, what you think? Is he okay physically now?
Because the nightmare was finally over.
Whoa! Aaron-chan! It's like super nice to meet you. You can call me Marioni, okay? Me and my friends here are training heroes, and we are so psyched to have you as our little sister, you know? Oh, you're such a peach. I bet that's your favorite fruit, right?
Because Toshinori hadn't left his actually official son's sides, his strong arm a comfort he'd been longing for since the Global Pro Hero Initiative had kicked off in earnest.
You should have seen us get that. There we were, all dressed up to go snooping around the detonated. Company went bam! The Junior League calls Mimi Bakchan in to smash through the big meeting we were all having. My fire chief is looking to recruit the smalls for the emergency services, so Nezu-san better sign them up to UA soon, hadn't he?
Because his friends were here.
I'm sorry for squeezing you so tight, but what would we do without you?
Inchan, you're soaking him. And they were rallying around and buoying their kids along under what were quite concerning circumstances.
Hey there, cutie pie. You can call me Oni-chan, too.
Ma! She should call you Oba-chan, not...
You! Oi! Bakugo Katsuki, get your ass back here right now!
It was hard to believe, standing here now as he chuckled with his family and friends, while Mitsuki chased her grinning son around the room amidst torrents of boisterous laughter and cheers, that he'd just gone through such an awful experience.
Run, Ganchan, run! And why are you making the start of the cross, Denki? Well, that's what you do when someone is about to meet God, right?
However, there'd be time to think about and process everything later, wouldn't there?
Shavani, here. You need to stay hydrated.
Oh, and Iri-chan, we saved this apple turnover for you since Lisa-chan said apples were your favorite.
Thank you.
Because right now he just wanted to enjoy being with the community it helped to build.
Toshiji, here. They're not quite as good as Shoney's, but Kurogiri-san said their chef tries her best to copy his muffin recipe when she can. Thank you, Takedo-kun. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
A few hours later saw everyone settling down in a large lounge that was clearly influenced more so by Dave and Melissa, but still featured chandeliers that wouldn't be out of place in the 5-star restaurants Mirai loved so much. Hell, he knew the ancient bastard loved his finery, but there was only so much gold you could see in a place before it became gaudy. Mentioning as much to his beloved, though, had earned him a laugh stored with an adorably quipped comment about some of his stylistic choices over the years. Touche had it felt sweet upon his tongue, but he couldn't argue that it had been warranted. Just as he couldn't deny the fluttering of amore that flitted around his gut after hearing his most precious person's witty commentary. God, he missed him so much. He'd suffer 1,000 shigarakis if it meant he'd get the love Shouta for the rest of his life, and so he'd made up his mind to completely ignore the glistening fixtures mixed in with Davy's Andy Warhol collection that dominated this loud, vibrantly colored chamber, swamped with low-slung sofas, love seats, and beanbags large enough to swallow even empty. You're letting nerves get the better of you, Toshi. Now come on, the kids are here. They're waiting for you. The voice of his shisho murmured across his psyche soothingly. This isn't goodbye. This is the start of your life as Aizawa Toshinori, husband and father. You need to let all Mido go, okay? Blinking as he knelt on the plush, shaggy blue rug with the pre-heroes and trainees assembled before him, and he found himself swallowing thickly. Yes, that was right. This was a new beginning, the first step into a life that was all his own. This was a happy event, the start of someone else's journey into the history books, and he was ready. He wasn't nervous. He felt no pressure weighing across his expansive shoulders. Even if Shigaraki was sat in a chair a little ways behind him, those garnet eyes of his gleaming intently, whilst he sipped at an utterly dainty, obviously delicate, china cup dotted with roses. Regardless of their torrid history, he supposed that the older man should be privy to this, because picking out the next successor of One for All, the next person to house and protect the old fiend's beloved little brother, was something he'd find out sooner or later, and as always, his husband was right. Being completely open, honest, and transparent about his quirk, how it worked, and what inheriting it would mean was the only way forward, wasn't it? Then, with everyone settled, he sucked in a breath and released it.
Kneeling here before you now,
he began, their eyes zeroed in on him, whilst they sat with and around each other.
I cannot tell you just how proud I am of each and every one of you.
He confessed wholeheartedly, many of them blushing, rubbing the backs of their necks, preening.
And that is why I am going to entrust you with a secret I've once had to guard with my life.
He furthered, this little huff Shigaraki let out, countered by a whispered warning from David, his American best friend, propped against the older man's chair with a snickering Garaki beside him.
My quirk is called One for All.
He continued, his smile gripping as both Melissa and Izuku whipped up notebooks seemingly from thin air, their heads poised to take notes.
And originally, it wasn't mine.
Watching as the majority of the room blinked, balked, and shared a whisper or two, he nodded.
Yes, that's right. This power that I've used for the majority of my life was gifted to me by my master, my Tomokun's grandmother, Shimura Nana.
He added, his features flickering momentarily with regret and sadness.
She and Gran Torino saw in me the potential to take the gift that she herself had inherited, and that's one of the things which makes this power so special.
He grinned. Then, after letting that fact sink in, he appraised the wondrous young people before him.
And now, I would like to pass my abilities to someone else.
He smiled.
So I was hoping that one of you would be willing to shoulder the mantle next.
He continued, and as what he'd said dawned across them, he'd somehow managed to steel himself against the
Nani!
that bounced around the room.
That is impossible! Holy crow, you guys!
Toshi-senpai, you're retiring?
Not that he wasn't expecting it, but the shocked, bewildered, disbelieving glances were ones he'd be remembering for quite some time.
Yes,
He replied after a chuckle or two, his fond gaze moving to NATO.
I've been focusing for the longest time on protecting the world, and now with the global pro-hero initiative stabilized, I need to work on the most important mission of my life.
He offered.
And that mission is to be the best husband, father, and mentor I can be.
He said, the blue-eyed boy's features brightening.
Because you, all of you, are the future. You're my future, and I want to give myself to you fully.
He nodded whilst many of them gasped and blushed.
So, how about it?
He asked, his eyes then looking to the two quirkless teenagers.
Since I was originally without a quirk of my own, I hope that none of you would mind me directing my offer to Melissa and Izuku first.
Watching as the group at once turned to them, Toshinori felt the whispers of guilt for singling them out subside.
Whoa! Turku! You totally rock the kind of quirk, man!
Mom, Lisa-chan, you'd be just like Star and Stripe if you said yes!
Because from the congratulatory gushes of their friends, it looked as though they felt the same.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Toshiji, I'm flattered, really.
the young Midoriya breathed, his hands clenched over his heart.
And if you'd offered me such an amazing gift in another life, a life where where I didn't feel valued for who I am, I probably would have jumped at the chance, he admitted, those emerald eyes shining, determined. But now I'm quirkless, and I'm proud of that, he said, his body huddled between an awestruck Shouta and the blonde genius who was nodding along with him. And I'll become a hero just as I am. I want to show the world. I want to show everyone, especially the people like me, that their dreams are possible. He beamed.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way,
Melissa revealed, those gorgeous azure eyes bright while she regarded him.
Not that I'm not, well, just blown away that you'd think of me,
she added as her cheeks baked, her left hand threading with Azuka's right.
But I want to be a hero on my own terms too. I want to stand shoulder to shoulder with quirked heroes, and I want to know that I'm at that goal, that I'm worthy just as I am, you know?
Feeling his heart swell with pride, the current number one nodded at them.
I completely understand, he agreed, and I'll be cheering you on every step of the way,
he promised before he looked to his son once more.
What about you, Neto-kun?
Dad, the boy huffed, his head shaking in a mixture of pleasure and embarrassment. Thanks, but I think the person you should choose is sitting over there. He grinned as with some kind of shared telepathy he wasn't privy to. The group of young people all looked to Togata Mirio. What? Hey now! The sunny blonde balked, his hands waving abortively. You're the perfect choice, senpai! Katsuki snorted, his eyes rolling. G-san is gonna need someone who can handle that kind of power. Yes, but you could...
He's also gonna want someone who embodies All Might's ideals,
Hitoshi supplied primly. I get that, but you're like so smart, so... The next number one will need to be a natural-born leader, too. Natsuo pushed, a broad shoulder knocking into the sputtering permeation users pointedly. But I'm not...
Being humble, modest, and perpetually optimistic are pretty important qualities too, aren't they?
Ochako gushed while she, Tsuyu, Denki, and Angela beamed at him. Well, sure,
And mastering that kind of work will take patience, focus, and dedication as well. If only there were someone here who had taken a really difficult power to master and managed to tame it.
Neizare winked while stomaching looked to his partner. His handsome face warmed with pleasure whilst he grabs the taller boy's trembling hands with his own.
Mirio,
The usually shy team breathed.
If anyone can do this,
he furthers, those dark eyes meeting astonished blue.
Then it's you,
he murmured whilst the other teared up and the other children encircled them.
It's always been you.